Hello everybody, in this video I want to show you how you can share information between the client and the server. And the motivation for this video I got from a new application that I'm developing, a React quiz application. And I've already done 2 videos where the motivation came from this application. One video I've talked about dynamic type check, and the other video I've talked about React form, and both I've used TypeScript interface and JSON schema. This is the structure of my project. I have client, I have server, this is my quiz app, and I can submit it. And I can view score. This is the application. If you are looking here, you see the client. This is a React client that was created using a vite project, and it is using TypeScript. And this is the server. It's an Express application also using TypeScript. But you can see also that there is a directory here that is called common. And here, because I'm using the same programming language on the client and on the server, it's easy for me to share information, and information is common between the client and the server. For example, the endpoint, okay? The endpoint between the client and the server, I need to access this endpoint from the client, okay? For example, you see that I'm accessing this endpoint from the client, and I'm listening on this endpoint on the server, okay? So URL endpoint are every React and Express server have endpoint, and they are shared. So yes, you can put it on the client and separately on the server. But what happens if you change this URL and you forget to change it here? You get a bug. You can fix it, yes, but it takes you time. So why not put it in one place here? Okay, and also I'm sharing this generic validate. This is a dynamic type check that I'm talking about in one of my video. Both video I will put a link below. And this generic validate, if I search for it, you can see that I'm validating the information that I get from the server, okay? The quiz that I get from the server, I'm validating that I'm getting it correctly on the client. This is the client, you see? React quiz private client SRC. But I'm also, okay, so when information is coming from the server to the client, I'm dynamically validating that it is okay. And when I'm sending information from the client to the server, for example, contact, okay, here I can send contact information from the client to the server. Okay, so when I'm sending it to the server needs to validate it. So he's doing the validation. This is valid contact, is valid quiz, but you see that I'm using the same function. Okay, so and I'm also sharing a lot of interfaces. So there is a really good motivation to share information. So this is the motivation for this video. And what I want to do now is to take an already existing repo that I have. It's a setup for client and server. The client is a React and the server is an Express. And I also have a video about this. I will add it inside. And on top of this, I will share common information. Okay, so this is what I want to do. And this is the repository that I'm working here. And what I will do now, I will clone an already repo that have on the client side React, build with vite project, typescript vite React project, and on the server it has Express, and they are both talking together. So this is the starting point of building the repository that has common information. Okay, so let's see. Okay, this is the repo that I'm going to clone. You see, I have client. This is the React client. This is the server, but no common directory. Okay, so I will clone it very carefully. Okay, let's make a dir project. Okay, now let's clone it. Git clone. Okay, now let's look at it. Okay. Okay. Okay, and now I can get rid of this. Don't need it. Okay. Okay, let's invoke it and see. As I said, I need to install the dependency. So cd client npm install. Okay, for this to work, you must install concurrently globally. Okay, it is installed globally on my side. So now I can run it. So it is going to run the client and the server. This is running the server. You see here NodeMoon, and this is the client. Okay, so this is very simple application. And the client is asking here, and you see that he's accessing the /API/v1, and the server is listening on this. Okay, he's listening on this, and he will reply with hello. Okay, let's see if it is working. Okay, it is working. So this is nice, but what happens if I'm changing this? Now I'm changing it to v2, suppose. Okay, let's see what will happen. Let's refresh and click here. So it is not working because I've changed on one side and not changed on the other side. But actually, this is common. Okay, so let's revert it back to 1. Okay, now it is working. So what I want to do is I want to create a common directory and put there this constant. And let's do it. So let's create common. And let's put here constant. .ts. Okay, and let's take this API, and let's call it root URL. Okay, let's define here const root URL, and this is equal to this. Okay, so this is not enough because we need to export it. And now I want to import this from here. Okay, so now instead of this, I want to write this. Okay, let's see. Okay, we need to import it. So let's do the following. Import and now we are here, so dot slash let's go to common, let's go to constant. From, let's see if it is working. Okay, so the client side is working. I did not have to do anything. And now the server. Let's go to the server side. And let's use here root URL. And now we need to import it. Let's see if he is able to. No. I need to tell him about this. Okay, so import root URL. Let's go dot here, dot. It's actually the same. From dot common constant. And now I have a problem because I have told him on this tsconfig that root dir is src, and I need to tell him I have also another directory. Okay, it will be let's put it here on under src. Okay, let's create here. Let's change it to src and put it here. And we need to change it also here. We have done it. This is okay. Yes. And here we also need to tell him. Yes, src. And how do we tell him about this? Server. Okay, so remark this. And this is an array. And here we tell him where to look for TypeScript file. And dot common and src. Okay, this is okay. Let's see if it is working. See that it is accessing the one in the common. So this should work. Let's see if it is working. Okay. Okay, let's change something. Hello. And let's take it from the client. Okay, you see that it is working. Now let's remove it. Now let's change it. See that the node.mon is updating. And now this is also updating. So we managed to put, suppose we want to add some function. Okay, you saw that I have a validation function that is shared between client and server. So let's add utils.ts. Suppose that we have a function export function validate suppose we need to just validate this code. Okay, and let's try to call this from the client. So we have it here, and let's import validation. From, and we can take it from here, from utils. And let's call it. Let's simply call it here. Let's see if it is working. Yeah, validation is called. Okay. So we are able to share. Okay. This is from the client. And let's invoke it also on the server. And we take it from utils. Let's see if it is working. Validation. Here, you see? So this is the client, this is the server, and we saw also the client. Now, let's see what happened if we change the code. Okay, let's change here. Let's add here this. So what we see that the React side is able to detect this change. Okay, so if I will go here, you see that this is added, but the server side was not able to detect this. Okay, we don't see it, and this is because node.mon, here we are invoking node.mon, on the server npm run dev invoke NodeMon. And simply because NodeMon is not aware of this, okay? We need to tell NodeMon, hey, look also here for changes. I'm telling him following. Let's just do this, okay? So I'm telling NodeMon, hey, watch for your root and go also for common. And now you see that he caught the changes, okay? Let's change it again. Let's change it to 1, 2, 3, 4. And now you see this is the vite. Maybe we need to stop the project once. Let's try again. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's change now XYZ. And you see that NodeMon has picked the change, okay? Okay, let's change it again. A, B, C, D. Let's see here. A, B, C, D. And here also A, B, C, D. So this change also make the server be aware of changes on the common directory. So let's summarize it. What I've done, I've took an already working React and Express project, this project, I've cloned it, and then I've added common. Okay, I've put here this root because it appears in both the client and the server. So this is one change. I also put here a function that I was able to call, and it was working. The only problem was that when I've made a change here, the React was aware of this, but the server had actually two problems. The first problem was that he said TypeScript wise that he does not know about this root dir, so I had to do this. This was the first change on the server, and the second change was that I wanted the change, once I did it, was reflected on the client, not on the server, because I had to tell NodeMon, hey, there is a change, and this was change here with the watch. Thank you.